I'm going to record this. This is recording. So the reason I'm bringing it up is you're saying it is, like, I'm just rephrasing what you're saying. What you're saying is you're stressing because your child is little young, you're worried whether he's going to be taken care of. You just got a job, which is what you were looking forward to all this time. But when it is falling into place, it stresses you, right?
Yeah.
And that's because, again, we need to readjust and balance. And we had a workshop with my spiritual teacher, and he's my sponsor too for 12-step program. And he says it in another way, which I thought was fascinating. He said, you need to build your boat while you're swimming, which kind of like makes sense in one way. In another way, you were saying, oh my God, how would that be possible, right? Like, how is it possible? But many people who do venture capitalist position, like people who are building their own company, right? I've seen these people work after hours. They'll go work nonstop, like, 6, 7 hours in their own company, and then daytime come and work. So think of it like this. So my teacher says there is only one way to live, to work for yourself. He says otherwise you'll never get ahead of you. So you're now working somebody else's dream. That's another way to think, right? And that's why it stresses you, because it's not what is in there for you. Even though you're making the money,
Mm-hmm.
it's and you love the passion, like, you love what you're doing, but essentially it's like you are using your body to serve another person's dream. Can we think of it
Yeah.
that way?
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense. So take a chunk of your time and put it into building your own dream, because that's the only way to get ahead. And I actually, see, I reached a space in my life in 2011. I think I worked for a hospital until I think 2012. Yeah, I worked 11 years, and I was a hospitalist there, and I really loved my job. And it was getting to a point like I didn't feel I was fulfilling a purpose. In 2011, I started my own company. 11/1/2011, which is, yeah, it was a nice day to start my own wound care company. And in wound care, I used to work only 2 days, and I made enough money. 2 days per week. I made enough money. The hospital was paying me for a week worth of job. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
So I saved up enough. So I put myself ahead for my children's education and stuff. But at the same time, I also knew I came to a place where I don't want to be hungry and holding all that money. So in 2014, I took a sabbatical, and I decided to give back to the world whatever I made. And I worked for others. I gave up my money to serve another person. My goal was to bring 5 people back to life. So I gave all my money away, meaning like I paid off their overhead, I gave them like rent free. But these were addicts, 5 of them, all 5 started stealing from me. They didn't even understand what was the gift I was offering. 2 years, I paid them $70,000, $35,000 per year. I paid them. They didn't even understand the equation. That's because they never thought. Like, see, they don't believe in goodness. They believed something is in it for me. That's why I'm using them. They never saw it. 2 years I worked. Finally, people started stealing from me. One guy who's homeless went and sued me. He got money off me. So then I was asking the teacher, I said, why was it happening? And he was saying, you came from a place of deprivation. He says, when you come from a place of poverty, whatever help you do, you're not taking care of yourself. You have no business to help another person when you haven't paid off your mortgage and stuff. He says, you need to go to the Bill Gates level before. So I quit that. And Dr. Doe, that's when he called me. He says, can you come and join me? So I joined him. And I'm ahead of myself now again. Like, I easily caught up. It was not a problem. And by this time, I realized it's not my job to fix the community. But what I got out of all this is I cannot fix another person. But at the same time, I also understood I need to work less, not more, to be smart. So that's one thing I can impart on you. One is like, work less and earn more, and work smarter, not harder. Does it make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
So how would that look for you now that you've heard my story? Explain to me what it clicks in your brain.
Well, if I was to translate that into like hairstylist ways instead of like taking every like little haircut. I would want to get like more color correction, hair extension clients that like pay more, and I wouldn't have to work so many hours, but I'd be making more money. You know what I mean?
So that's one way to say it. I have another colleague of mine. His name is Dr. Fogg. He's a brilliant guy. He does wound care and he retired. He said he looked at me one day. He said, "Vasu, you need worried wealthy." The guy with the turban in his hair, with a big stuff on his forehead. He says, "You will be very rich serving those people." I'm just kidding. But that's what he kind of said. So my first job, I was a flower girl. I used to make garlands and I ran my own business. But I combined that and I understood how similar to catering. So I became a bridal expert. So I used to go and decorate brides and stuff. And the family will pay pretty pricey. So you can charge it. And initially I was such a novice. One guy even paid me just to come and watch his family because he was so miserable on my behalf because he knew I was a doctor and I was doing this. He says, "Here, he'll give you the money. Just watch us." But I didn't want to do that type of job either because I didn't want to be coming off pitiable.
Yeah.
I want to be powerful. So one thing I learned was in wound care, instead of running around doing my own clinic, I go to a nursing home and I serviced all these patients they gave me and I made more money. And there are residential homes, they are desperate for people like you. These ladies have tons of money. They just want a curling done, hair dye done. You just take one residential home. I can introduce you to many people, but like I'm saying, you would be doing more work in one place instead of running around and doing nothing. That's another way to think, right? Don't think of hairstyling traditional. Make it mobile, right? Now they are having pet therapy where they wash the pet in the back of a van
Yeah.
and they make money. Why are you not doing that? They have a tub for a pet and pet gets their air burned. And it has this bow and little.
I know.
I'm saying, think out of the box. Get
know.
your mobile van, or if you cannot do it in a nursing home. But build your business instead of building somebody else's, and you can split it. The only reason you're doing it, in my opinion, is maybe insurance. You're afraid you need benefits and stuff. Is that what is driving you?
I mean,
work for
my
another
job
person?
doesn't even offer any of that.
So wouldn't that be then smarter decision to disengage from them and just call your hour instead of them telling you what to do?
I don't know.
You're scared to share. Okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying is at least put away one day a week. Think of it as your dream day. Build yourself and do it in a way that makes more sense to you. When you reach financially a place where you're making the same money in one day compared to 4 days you're giving them, you split. How about that?
Yeah.
That would be swimming and making your boat. And my teacher says, give yourself 2 years. You don't need to do it today. Give yourself 2 years, which is 24 months, right? So it's doable. When you think of it that way, it's not that scary. I'm building my steam room. I'm building my retreat center. But I don't need to work for another person that I love Dr. Do. I work because I feel he's like my brother. I would easily work with him because he's such a good man. For me, I needed a roof over my head, two pairs of clothes, and food to eat, which is available in a dollar menu. I'm a dollaritarian. Okay. I keep it very simple. I was driving one day. I was thinking, my husband is so annoying. I don't like him. I don't want to go home. And then I drive by Wendy's. I pull in. I order a dollar menu. When I come out, I said, I have the cutest husband in the whole world. My husband says, from now on, I want you to stop. Eat before you come home.
You are hilarious.
I know. I try not to be.
You were angry, hungry and angry.
I know. I know. I feel I keep it very simple. My husband calls me, "You're a cheap date." When I go out, I force him to eat dollar menu. He cannot stand it. The first time I knew I loved him was he ordered a menu. I looked at him. Finally, I always assumed he can pay for himself after 13 years of marriage. First time breakthrough moment was when I looked at him and I said, "What do you want to order?" And that's when it hit me. I never asked him before. I never opened my purse. And I said, "Oh my God, my heart is open now."
Aww.
And the first thing is he busted my budget. He ordered a $3 menu.
He broke the bank.
I know. And that became a revelation for my kids.
No.
They transitioned from dollar to $3 because I had to treat everybody equal. So I couldn't like violate my rule. So now I eat $2 menu.
That's funny.
So,
Yeah, you're
so
in
you-
the middle now.
I know I'm rich now. But so what I'm saying is I don't need to do a separate business. So I decided to join my spiritual teacher and I'm doing more spiritual workshops and stuff. But I feel personally, you have to do it in a way that makes sense to you. You know, one thing I always look at people, I will ask you this question too. Why do you think you want to work and make money? Bottom line.
I want to have my own hair salon with that.
See, that is just
Okay.
another way you're saying, but that's not what is it. This is what I'm going to say for me. I want a comfortable future for my kids, right? Like that's like bottom line is we work for our family.
Yeah.
And you know who struggles, who pays for our dream is our family. Because it's my kids I'm putting aside to raise my dream, which is useless, you know. By the time they're old, they're not even going to come see me. They're going to be so busy. And here I am running my agenda, not even understanding. My priority was my child in the first place. And the exact person I need to be is the one I'm neglecting in the first place. If you think of it that way, the person who's paying for your dreams is your son. The person who paid for my dreams was my children. When I understood it, I decided I'm never going to let them be on the sideline. So the reason I'm going back to my town to do my spiritual workshops and retreats is I want to be there for my kids when they're stressed. And the reason I got into addiction is addiction runs in our family. So I felt I want to be ahead, like pay off all my karmas so my kids don't have to suffer. And even if they suffer, at least I'll be there to lift them up. You know, so be ahead and be ahead for your children. Know that like, you know, you're going to be dropping everything to go to their aid. But if you're stuck in your job, there's no way. If you're middle of cutting somebody's hair, you're going to leave and go, right? To go rub his hand when he has a boo-boo.
Yeah.
So there is a piece of you always you have to keep it so that your kids can have access to it. Does it make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if I'm going to call it a code word because I'm going to post it on YouTube,
Yeah.
what would be one sacred word for you that brings you peace inside?
Serenity.
Okay. So I'm going to say serenity, completion. So that way, like, you know, you when my YouTube channel is healnow.tv. The session, like, you know, even though it's not exactly a session, I said it in a way that kind of like clicks with you, right? The swimming and building boat, because like it doesn't make sense. How can I swim and make boat, right? That's exactly what I was feeling like 10 years ago. And I said, people are talking all, they are full of it. They have no idea. I'm paycheck to paycheck. Shut up, you know. I know what I'm doing. But you know what? Actually, if you do not do your dream, nobody's there to build it for you. Nobody's there. My husband said, "Don't worry, Vasu. Keep working hard. We will kick back when we have a retirement." I said, "Keith, the way you make me work, the only way I'm going to kick back is in a nursing home." Like bingo, you know.
Bingo.
Which I don't even like.
Bingo's actually fun.
I don't want to be. And when I said this, we went to a resort. My son, my youngest one, he went and played bingo with all the old ladies in Florida because he was desperate for company. And they all hated him because he was right in the middle of them dating each other. They couldn't wait for him to be gone.
No.
That's what happens.